brought about my decision to go was the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he said that the black man needs knowledge of self, and that once he obtains knowledge of self, then he will be free. Okay, and so because of that, I decided, you know what, I need to go to Africa. Okay, I didn't know where to go. Okay, but after that, I listened to a series by a brother by the name of Sheikh Muhammad Sharif that I received from some other brothers out of LA. And that series of tapes called Islam in Africa put an impression upon me to the point where I said, you know, I'm that type of person. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna check it out. You know what I mean? If you say, oh, you know, you can't go over there, they'll do this to you, I'm the kind of dude, I'll go and check it out and see if it really happens like you say it happened. That's just how I am. And so after I listened to the tapes that Muhammad Sharif put out, I booked a ticket. And the place I was trying to go, I couldn't book a ticket there because they didn't have tickets going there. Okay? Or the price, I think, was outrageous. Okay? But basically, I booked a ticket to Egypt because the price for tickets to Egypt were cheaper. Okay, and I said, and somebody told me that I think that I heard that, oh, you can make it to Egypt, you can make it to Sudan from Egypt, you can just cross the border. And so, you know, here it is, boom. You know, if you've been through the streets of LA or anywhere, San Diego, California, that's nothing. You know, because it's all about how you think. So okay, I'm gonna get there, no problem. So, mind you, I only left out with this intention, okay, and so basically, I catch a flight from San Diego to New York, and all the time I'm on these flights, the fear was real. Anxiety, fear, because I'm thinking that these people are going to tell me, you know what, you're not supposed to be on this flight. You can't fly. You know what I mean? And so we talk about fear. These are the kind of things that are there with you the first time when you've never done something before. And so those things were real for me. Okay? Until eventually the final flight, when we loaded up in New York and we boarded and we flew out of New York. And so I'm looking around, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is really it. You know what I mean? And so, boom, here it is. I'm on this journey. And so I'm on this journey. I touched down we're taking off from New York. And as we're taking off from New York, I'm up like, whoa, you know. And so, mind you, this is about a 12 to 15 hour flight. And so I'm really like, whoa, you know, I'm wow, you know, I'm tripping, man. This flight, is it gonna crash? You know, is it okay? You know, you're up in the air a long time, and you know, you turbulences and so forth like that. You know, so we finally get, and they announce that, you know, and I'm so amped up, I can't sleep. You know, I can't sleep. But once they announce we're making our pass and we'll be landing in Cairo soon, you know, I'm looking out the window, and at that moment, you know, I felt free. Okay. And what made me choose Cairo was because the most famous pictures of Malcolm, his visits to Africa, were Cairo and also Nigeria. Okay, and so the reason why I chose Cairo is because tickets to West Africa, the darker side of Africa, are always very expensive, even though it's very close to the States. Keep this in mind. That's what I'm telling you. And so the tickets are always expensive because they don't want you to really go there. Okay, they don't want you to go there. Okay, and so now I'm like, oh, I'm finna touch down where Malcolm touched down at. I'm finna visit the places that Malcolm visited. You know, boom, I'm free. So I'm thinking in my mind, I'm doing all of the things that Malcolm did. You know what I mean? You know, and so you know, I shed a couple of tears. We get down in Cairo, boom, you know, and so I'm feeling, hey, you know, I'm up there. I hit a hotel. I get some rest. You know, I'm jaw jittery, but I get some rest, and then the next day I go out to look at the city. And so I go out to the famous square where the revolution was, Tahrir Square, and so I'm just, you know, I'm just checking things out. I ate breakfast and everything, and so I'm just checking things out. And so as I'm at the square, you know, because, you know, my background, you know what I mean, you know, you grow up in California, you know, even if you don't want to have no street in you, you got it. But if you got street in you, then you can survive anywhere. And so I'm standing at the square and I back away from the crowd and I'm just checking things out, you know, because you need to know what's going on around you, who's around you, and so forth. So I'm checking the crowd out. And as I'm checking the crowd out, I see another brother. Okay, I realize, okay, this brother right here. Because remind you, we're in Egypt. Egypt's supposed to be Africa, but the majority of people running around in Cairo are a mixture of Arab and African. You do run across a lot of Africans there, but the majority are Arab and African. So I see a brother that is distinguished. Boom, this brother, he's African. Okay, I peep the brother. He sees me also. When he sees me, he comes back. Boom, and I'm checking him. Right, I go like that. He went like that. It was over with. I smiled. He smiled. I walked to the brother. I told the brother, "Assalamu alaikum." He said, "Wa alaikum assalam." I started talking. One of the first things you need when you go to Africa is you need to start learning languages before you go. I started learning Arabic before I went. You know, that was a benefit for me. If you're going to West African countries, you need wherever you're visiting, you need to know the languages that are there. One of the most prominent languages that we speak in America ever since the early days of the revolution with the Black Panthers is Swahili. Swahili's a highly used language, directly connected to Arabic. Whole nother subject. We'll get into that at another day. Okay. And so he can't speak English, and I really can't speak Arabic or his other native tongue. But we're able to communicate. He knows where I'm from. I know that he's from Sudan. Okay. And I said, yeah, man, I'm trying to visit Sudan. He said, really? I said, yeah. Boom. He said, okay, you got a visa? I said, nah. Brother said, I'm going to take you to the embassy. The next day, or I think that same day, took me to the embassy. Took me to the embassy to meet the ambassador of the embassy. Sat down, had breakfast with the ambassador. You know what I mean? Nothing fancy, humble breakfast, but I had here it is. I'm thinking, you know, you got a dude. I'm from Skyline. You know what I'm saying? I'm from California. I'm sitting down having breakfast with the ambassador. You know what I mean? Ambassador says, "You ever been to Africa?" I said, "No, this is my first time, sir." You know, he says, "Okay, what makes you want to go to Sudan?" I said, you know, I told him about the series that I heard and everything, and Islam in Africa and so forth, and that Sudan was really mentioned there, and I need to go visit. I need to check it out for myself. He said, "Yeah, it's a good place. You need to go down there. You need to, you know, you have to find a lot of places to study, and also you can learn Arabic there." I said, "Cool." gave me a visa. Boom. Out of nowhere. This is how Allah or God works, is that you have an intention, and with that intention, you have no way. But it's God that does everything else for you. So, boom. Right like that, I get a ticket, and the job is done. You know, the job is done. I get a ticket. So, brother gives me a ticket. I mean, not gives me a ticket, but gives me a visa. And so now it's just about for me to book my ticket and go ahead and go down to Sudan. Now, mind you, I speak on all of that to say that the spiritual awakening that I felt in Egypt was overwhelming, but it was really overwhelming when I arrived in Sudan. Why? Because all of the people were black. Okay. Now, mind you, you have different tribes, like the brother spoke about, and they have their own issues amongst them. You'll never know it until you settle. Okay. And so it's good to know and read about different tribal conflicts, which I did, so as to know some understanding and know the subtleties with how to deal with people and not get caught up into people's conflicts. Okay, we have to be, sometimes people are going to look at you and they're going to mistake you for a particular tribesman, because we are descendants of particular people, and we reflect those people when they see us. If you put on garb, or even if you're wearing in Western clothes, you're going to be mistaken for somebody. Okay, and they may walk up to you and just start speaking the native tongue, and you're like, whoa, I don't really understand anything, but because they think that you are from their tribe. And so these are the things that happen, and they're going to happen to you, and that's because we are descendants of people on the continent. Okay, and these things are clearly understood. Okay, so if you do decide to go, what I would say, because a lot of us, we went political P, and I think Riza 786, also myself, I went solo dolo, because that's just, we all got this, we're Americans, you know what I mean? I'm going by myself. I don't need nobody, you know what I'm saying? And these are our shortcomings. I went by myself. I endured all my hardships by myself. What I'm suggesting for people to do, and this is what I'm involved with now, is that you need to co-op. Same thing the Panthers did, the same thing Africans do. This is an African thing to co-op. Okay, you work together as a community, putting money together. So this is what Chinese do. This is what the Koreans do. This is what all groups of people do when they come to America. They co-op. Okay, and we're busy buying from them. And if we co-op our finances while in America, then what you do is that you create a wealth that is yours, that you're not giving to someone else, that you can reinvest in another way in your community in the States or in Africa.